Okay, so what you are about to hear are three stories of the Men in Black encounters. Make sure to stay till the end of the video because the last story is actually the most entertaining one. So yeah, it's up to you to judge if these stories are genuine or not. Enjoy the video. To date, what happened to me yesterday was the strangest and most bizarre thing I have witnessed, and really I don't know what to make of it. I live in a very small town of 1,000 people in southwest Michigan. I'm not from here, but moved out here a couple years ago from a bigger town about an hour away. I was out with some friends catching up with some dinner at Applebee's, and at about 10 we all departed and went out separate ways. It's about an hour and a half drive back to my place, and then used to driving it and driving at dark and all that because of my job. Anyways, to get to what I saw, I rolled into my town at about 11:30, and the town is dead quiet at this point like it usually is. Now there's one major crossroad in town that has, if you're coming into town, a small restaurant and a gas station on the left, and parallel is a library and a second gas station. I was just coming up to this crossroad, and I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at my phone changing a song when out of the corner of my eye I saw something move from out the street by the restaurant. I slammed on my brakes, and to what I believe I saw was a man on stilts. Except these were some exceptional stilts, because if I had to guess, he was about 15 feet tall. He took one stride and looked at me. This is where it gets even stranger to me. He was wearing a black and white checkered tailored suit, jacket with grey dress pants, aviator sunglasses, and a top hat. Now I've seen people on stilts before and their arms are always normal size, but this guy's arms were just about down to his knees like a proportional being. He then took 2 more strides and was out of sight behind the library. I then pulled up and grabbed my phone to get a picture of this guy, but he was gone. I turned down the street to try and find him. Looking down the alleyways and local streets, I couldn't find him. I am absolutely baffled by this incident. I want to believe that it was just some dude pulling off a rather impressive cosplay, but something seems so off about it. The entire encounter was maybe 4 to 5 seconds long, but I remember it so vividly. Number 2. I was living in a college town in East Texas during the late 80s. One night after dark, I was driving to visit a friend who lived about 7 miles out of town. Pine trees lined each side of the farm to Market Road, which had very little traffic in the evenings. There were no houses along that stretch, making the drive dark. I was surprised at night to see headlights coming towards me in the darkness. Even more surprising was the car was moving very slowly and was waving back and forth over the center lane. I quickly pulled over to the shoulder, thinking that would be the best way to avoid an accident if the driver was drunk or something. My headlights lit upon a black early 60s Buick 4-door, and to my amazement it pulled over on the opposite shoulder, almost parallel with my truck. The Buick's dash lights allowed me to see the silhouette of man in a hat. Not a cowboy hat, but the type of hat that men wore in the 60s all over the country. I kept watching to see if he was in some sort of distress or needed assistance, but he didn't move. He just sat there staring straight ahead. I probably should have been more concerned for my safety, but I felt compelled to check on him. I got out of the truck and walked across the road to stop a few feet from his car and forward of his door. He was a thin older man dressed in a black suit and narrow black tie. The dash lights made his skin look a dull green color. He was wearing sunglasses. He sat with his hands on the steering wheel and hadn't looked over at me once. His window was rolled up, so I asked if he was okay in a louder voice that seemed to be absorbed by the surrounding trees. He kept staring straight ahead. I knocked on his window. No response. I rapped harder on the window and asked even louder if he was okay. No response. Not a movement. Nothing. The hair prickled on the back of my neck, and I slowly stepped backwards towards my truck, watching for movement of any kind in the car. As soon as my butt hit the side of the truck, I jumped inside and locked the door and continued to watch him for a few minutes. Nothing. I shifted into drive and rode slowly back onto the road, and as I continued watching through my side mirror, the Buick remained in place and I sped away. Upon arriving at my friend's house, I left the truck running and literally pulled her out of the house as I explained we needed to go check on someone on the road. I sped back down the road towards where I had left him. I ended up driving all the way back into town looking for him, but there was nothing. I have no idea who or what I saw. A man in black? A lost soul driving through, never moving on? Or maybe just a senile old man out for a drive in his well-kept classic car? What do you think? Number 3. This case happened to me about 7 years ago, late at night. I talked with my friend on Skype while my family has slept. I told my friend I have to go to the toilet and I'll be back soon. I'm the kind of guy who turns on the lights where he goes. I tell this to make it clear that what I saw was not just a silhouette. I turned on the lights in the hallway, in the kitchen, in the corridor, and I went to the toilet. After I was done, I went out from the toilet into the corridor to wash my hands, so I turned to the bathroom. But from the corner of my eye, I noticed something unusual in the kitchen. I turned my head in that direction, and I saw that someone sitting at the kitchen table and staring right at me. I stopped and my heart started to beat very hard and fast. It was a man in a black suit. He looked like a 40-year-old man. His eyes, especially his iris, was dark, maybe dark brown. But I knew he was staring at me. For a moment I wondered that I'm gonna ask him who the hell you are, but no sound came out from my throat. For a while I was still standing there waiting for something to happen, but that man did not move. Neither did I. Suddenly, driven by the idea, I jumped into the bathroom and locked the door on myself. I washed my hands and my face with cold water. My whole body was trembling. I really did not know what to do, but I decided I will not stay in the bathroom. If this man was able to come into my house, he can get in the bathroom as well. I waited a few minutes before I opened the door again. This was the hardest part because there was nothing in the bathroom with whom I could protect myself, so I could only rely on that. When I saw the man again, I'll try to yell at the other members of my family to wake them up and help me. I opened the door a bit and quickly looked out into the corridor. Nothing. I opened the door wider and looked into the kitchen too. Nothing. I was afraid, but I came out from the bathroom and decided to look around the house and checking every possible place where the man could hide after that. I checked the storage room, the toilet, the kitchen. I found nothing. Then I checked the front door, all the windows, everything was closed, so there was no way to get in. I did not even see the traces of someone would have broke into our house. From my point of view, the whole event took no more than 10 minutes. I went back to my room, and on Skype I told my friend what happened to me. He told me to check the clock, how long it took. I was away for more than 1 hour. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed these stories. Suggest in the comments what should I improve in these videos, and suggest what should I do a video on next. I will probably make one more video about these men in black, encounters and try to explain them more, not just stories about them. So yeah, if you look forward to it, leave a like on this video. If you're still here, congratulations. And yeah, see you in the next one.